What's up guys, I'm PawsBuild, and today I'm going to show you how to build a Savannah habitat for the plain zebra in Planet Zoo Console Edition. Thank you to Frontier Developments for sponsoring this video. There are a number of habitat gate options to start your habitat, but we're going to go with the glass habitat gate here. Then you need to build barriers around the whole of the outside. Also note that the barriers have different features such as different resistance grades, transparency, climbability, and you need to make sure that these align to the needs of your animals, which you can find in the Zoopedia. If you check the species data in the Zoopedia, you can see how many of each animal you should have in your habitat. And then if you go into the natural habitat tab, you can put in how many animals you're expecting. This will tell you the land requirements you need inside your habitat. And you can also see the boundary requirements for your barriers, which is the resistance grade and how high they need to be. What I did for this habitat was use the null barriers, which are essentially non-existent barriers that you can then replace with construction pieces from the game. This habitat area is sufficient for our zebras. When making the barrier with the construction pieces, I wanted to make sure that it was at least 2 meters high, which is why I have the concrete wall. And then I decorated this up as much as I wanted, and then duplicated this fence piece I'd made so it followed the line of our barrier. Then to create a shelter building, I made 2 separate wall panels, one that was a solid panel and one that was a window panel, and I did the same here, decorating them up so they were just how I wanted them to be, so then I could later duplicate them and create the shelter. My reason for doing it this way is it saves you a lot of time creating 1 or 2 wall pieces that you decorate a lot and then duplicate them, rather than creating the whole of the shelter walls and then deciding to decorate everything. I also did change one of our wall pieces to be a door piece so that our keepers could get in and out of the habitat. Then I created a roof for this building out of the thatch roof pieces, and I wanted this to be kind of like a stable, so I've got these 3 different roofs that I quite like, and I used the African logs to prop them up. Then we needed to add in some bedding, as this is the area that the zebras will sleep in, so I put random rotation on and duplicated a number of bedding items until we had a large bedding area under each of the stables. Now the outside of the habitat was in place, it was time to move our animals from the quarantine building to the habitat. And don't they look so beautiful? The first thing I do when the animals enter the habitat is go on the heat maps, go to the habitat option and select the animal, and you'll be able to see whether they can break out of the habitat or not. If it looks like this and you don't have any red warning signs, you're okay, they can't escape. If you select your animals, you can see the terrain distribution, and if you click on the terrain distribution, it takes you straight into the terrain editor so you can modify it to be within the green levels for each animal. Because this is the plain zebra's natural habitat, we didn't actually have to change any of the levels. You can also see that the stables building has fulfilled the hard shelter requirement of the zebras. However, our zebras were still lacking enrichment. If you go to the habitat tab, you can filter by the species you're looking for, and then it shows you all the enrichment that that animal will enjoy. So I placed a number of enrichment items in here. I then also decided, instead of using the water fountain, to build my own water area with the terrain editor. I think this is really cool, but you do have to put a water pump in to keep the water clean, otherwise your animals will get sick. And these water pumps do break over time, so you need to link them up with paths to make sure your mechanics can maintain them. I added a couple of food trays just in case the food enrichment wasn't enough for them. In the environment tab, if you click one of the options in the ideal plant range, it will filter these options for you, so you can just select the plants and rocks that are appropriate for this species. You want to make sure that the plant coverage stays within the ideal range for your animals. And here's a montage of me placing lots of rocks and plants. And to finish off this Savannah habitat for the plain zebra, we added in some education boards to teach our guests about our animals. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like and consider watching some of the other Planet Zoo content on my channel. I have a number of beginner-friendly Planet Zoo franchise mode series already on the channel where we build habitats just like this. And if any of this has been interesting to you, don't forget to check out Planet Zoo Console Edition. The link's in the description. And thank you again to Frontier Developments for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.